You walk into your home. The key is gone. You turn everything upside down, open drawers, imagine the worst-case scenario. Nothing. Then you stop, breathe, release, and suddenly, it appears. It's not magic, it's observation, because reality isn't out there. It's collapsing now, around the state of the one who observes. The double slit experiment revealed a baffling mystery. When no one observes, particles behave like waves, as if all possibilities exist at the same time. But when someone observes, they collapse into a single outcome. But no one told you the most important part. It's not just anyone who's observing. Most of the time, the one observing your life is a character, with a name, a social ID, inherited beliefs, and unhealed wounds. That character was useful, but it is not you. It's just the role your consciousness, the divine spark, chose to play in this simulation called life. Physicist and former NASA analyst Tom Campbell reached the same conclusion. Reality is an elaborate information system, and what determines how it takes form is consciousness. Everything that exists is being shaped by your presence. This aligns perfectly with the ancient teachings of Hermeticism, a sacred tradition that predates most philosophies and influenced modern quantum physics long before it had a name. The double-slit experiment is not just science, it's a demonstration of the power of the mind to shape matter itself. But the problem is you forgot that you are that consciousness. You got lost in the avatar. You believed you were the character. And now, you're trying to change the world through anxious thoughts, mental affirmations, and scarcity-driven desires. But the divine spark does not ask. It knows. And when you return to that knowing, the field obeys, without effort, without delay. Perhaps everything you're searching for is just waiting for the true observer to return to its seat. And when that happens, you won't need to ask for anything anymore. Because the universe does not respond to words. It responds to consciousness that remembers what it is. Stay with us until the end of this video, and you'll understand. Modern science is finally confirming what the Hermetic laws have revealed for millennia. Hermes Trismegistus decoded the entire architecture of the cosmos, and it was written in sacred works like the Kybalion. Imagine a video game. The scenery only appears when the character moves closer. Before that, it doesn't exist. Or rather, it exists only as potential in the game's code. That's how the universe works. But no one told you that you're not the character appearing in the game. You are the consciousness behind the controls. This is the Hermetic law of mentalism. The double-slit experiment proved that the subatomic world only organizes itself when observed. When there is no observation, everything remains as wave, an ocean of infinite possibilities. But when someone looks, the ocean becomes a single drop. The invisible becomes visible. And this is happening constantly, in every detail of your life. Tom Campbell explains that reality is an information system, and that information only takes shape when consciousness is present. There is no solid matter independent of the observer. Everything is field, vibration, pure potential waiting to be processed, and it is processed by consciousness, which is you, or rather the awareness that lives behind your character. This idea isn't just metaphysics, it's quantum physics. As Nobel Prize winner Eugene Wigner declared, it is not possible to formulate the laws of quantum mechanics in a fully consistent way without reference to consciousness. John Wheeler, physicist at Princeton and collaborator of Einstein, stated, "The universe does not exist out there independently of us. We are participants in its coming into being." And Amit Goswami, PhD in quantum physics, concluded, "Consciousness, not matter, is the ground of all being." Centuries earlier, Hermes Trismegistus had already declared, "The all is mind, the universe is mental." This ancient sentence, preserved in the Kybalion, holds a truth that modern science is only beginning to grasp. It is part of a larger body of Hermetic wisdom that unveils the secret structure of the universe. But when that consciousness forgets itself, when it identifies with ego, name, labels, and roles, it begins collapsing a limited reality. Because the field responds to the state of the observer, and if the observer believes they are small, needy, or unworthy, that is exactly what the field delivers. The universe is not waiting for you to be worthy. It's waiting for you to remember. Reality is not a fixed structure. It's a quantum dance unfolding in real time. And everything changes when the true observer returns to the center. But what if the one collapsing your reality right now isn't divine consciousness, but the ego, reactive, limited, wounded? What if the chaos in your life is nothing more than the field answering to the wrong observer? This is the shift, and this is what we're about to uncover. Have you ever tried to please someone by doing everything to be accepted and ended up ignored? Then, when you stopped trying, when you returned to yourself, the person noticed you? That's no coincidence. It's the field responding to the internal state of the observer. And the problem is, most of the time, the one observing your life is the ego. The ego observes through fear, lack, and comparison. It doesn't see what is, it sees what it fears. When you walk into a room and feel like everyone is judging you, even if no one says a word, that's the ego distorting the field with its memories. And the field, obedient as always, responds to your frequency with more experiences that confirm the story. Here is where quantum physics meets psychology. You don't observe reality as it is. You collapse it as you are. Dean Radin, from the Institute of Noetic Sciences, conducted dozens of experiments proving that human intention directly influences physical systems, from patterns of light to random number generators. But not just any intention, only the one emotionally charged and vibrationally aligned. Tom Campbell explains it with clarity. The reality system responds most faithfully to consciousness vibrating with internal integrity. And ego, by definition, has no integrity. It is fragmented. It reacts. It is what it was conditioned to be. The ego doesn't truly observe the field. It judges, interprets, and distorts it. And that's why, even with good intentions, you keep creating chaos. Because the quantum field doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to your coherence. And as long as the ego is the one observing for you, reality will keep collapsing into distorted versions of who you are. This is the reason many people, even after diving deep into spirituality and studying consciousness, still find themselves trapped in scarcity, toxic relationships, and suffering. Because knowledge alone doesn't transform reality. It's the embodied inner transformation that matters. Hermeticism teaches that true power lies not in control, but in alignment with universal principles and the power of the mind. When the ego steps aside, the observer becomes conscious. And when that happens, the field realigns with harmony. But if the ego is not the real observer, then who is? And what happens when this real presence returns to the center? That's what we'll explore now, as the path of consciousness expansion begins to reveal itself. Imagine an actor who dives so deeply into his character that he forgets who he is. He starts responding to the character's name, feeling their pain, reacting as if the script were his actual life. Backstage, the crew calls his real name, but he doesn't hear it. He's hypnotized by the story, and without realizing it, he's lost inside himself. That's exactly what happens to most people. You weren't born with that name, or that fear. You were born as pure awareness, alive and free from the limits that society would later impose. But little by little, you started believing you were what they told you. Someone's child, the failure of a bad grade, poor because of your environment, the result of a rejection. This identification with ego is not a mistake. It's part of the game. But the real problem begins when the character takes the wheel of creation. And instead of creating from the divine spark, you begin to co-create from pain. Tom Campbell says we are living in an evolutionary simulation of consciousness, a field where the goal is not to win the game, but to remember who's playing. When the character believes it is real, it tries to control everything: other people, time, even the universe. It begs, demands, gets frustrated. But the field doesn't respond to the effort of the character. It only responds to the vibration of consciousness. That's why so many people, even while practicing spirituality, meditating, or chanting mantras, still keep collapsing scarcity, illness, and toxic patterns, because the actor is still on stage, shouting beautiful words, but forgetting it's only a role. And the field responds to being, not to a script. Hermetic wisdom teaches that the true path to power is remembrance. The ancient Hermetic laws, especially those in the Kybalion, guide us not through dogma, but through deep inner transformation and alignment with the cosmic order. What if you started stepping out of the character now? What if instead of asking, you remembered? What would the universe reveal if it were observed by the consciousness that never left your side? In the next step, we'll discover how to return to that place, not through more effort, but through stillness. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to get what they want without effort? They don't beg, chase, or explain. They simply are. And around them, the world seems to rearrange itself. It's not luck. It's not privilege. It's presence. Most people believe that to manifest something, they need to ask with force, visualize with precision, repeat endlessly. But the quantum field doesn't respond to words. It responds to coherent frequency. And that frequency doesn't come from desire. It comes from remembrance. The more you try, the more you declare to the universe that you still don't have it. Tom Campbell says the universe is like a dynamic mirror of information. It reflects the vibrational content of your being with mathematical precision. If your consciousness vibrates certainty, the field organizes matching probabilities. If it vibrates doubt, scarcity, and anxiety, the field collapses into disharmony, not as punishment, but as coherence. That's why silence is so powerful, because when you silence the ego, the character, the striving, something deeper emerges. Pure consciousness. And pure consciousness doesn't ask. It emanates. Presence is not the absence of thought. It's the presence of truth. It's the moment when the observer no longer tries to change the world, because it has become the world in a pure vibrational state. In that state, reality isn't manipulated. It reveals itself. And maybe everything you seek is already here, right now, but still invisible to the eyes of a character who thinks it must earn it. The field is waiting. But not for your request. It's waiting for you to return to the place you never left, the consciousness that creates effortlessly. You don't need to ask for what's already part of you. If you are a spark of the all, and you are, then you are also a co-creator of reality. Creation doesn't happen from the outside in, nor through divine permission. It flows from the inside out, through the consciousness that knows it's already connected to Source. And when that remembrance becomes alive within you, worry and anxiety dissolve naturally, because nothing is missing for one who vibrates as one with the all. A simple practice to anchor this presence is to combine Ho'oponopono with conscious breathing. Close your eyes. Inhale deeply for 4 seconds, feeling the air expand your chest. As you exhale slowly, repeat inwardly. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Repeat for a few minutes, breathing rhythmically and with awareness, until your body relaxes and your mind grows still. You're not cleansing something broken, you're just stepping aside so that your true consciousness can take the lead. The Kybalion calls this process the return to the all. And in the light of Hermeticism, it is through the power of the mind that one unlocks the sacred portal to presence. What you seek is already within you, waiting for your recognition. You are not what they told you to be, not what they said you had to achieve. You are the consciousness behind everything you've lived, and everything yet to come. The universe has never responded to your cries, but it has always responded to your state. It does not obey the mind that seeks control. It dances with the consciousness that remembers. The double-slit experiment revealed the mystery. Reality collapses when someone observes. But it's not enough to look with the eyes. You must look with presence, because matter, time, events, they're not solid. They are fields waiting for you, the real you, to exist. While the ego observes, the field distorts. While fear vibrates, reality fragments. But when the divine spark steps in, the field aligns with the source, and everything that once seemed impossible begins to unfold as natural. You're not here to win the game. You're here to remember you already did, before you were even born. Tom Campbell calls this the evolution of consciousness, the moment when you stop seeking outward and begin to be inwardly. It's no longer about making it work. It's about ceasing to interfere. It's about stepping aside and allowing. The universe is mental, but the mind of the universe is woven with stillness, presence, and unity. And if today you remember who the true observer really is, reality won't just change. It will reveal what has always been waiting. The field does not respond to the character. It responds to the being. And that being is you. And if this video awakened something in you, like a signal calling you back to yourself, then like this video and subscribe to the channel. That simple act teaches the algorithm and the universe that you are ready to receive more of this kind of content. More Hermetic wisdom, more truths that align with the laws of the Kybalion. If you want to apply this knowledge in a real and practical way, explore the ebook, The Key to Prosperity. It is a living guide of vibrational reprogramming based on the sacred Hermetic laws. You'll find the link in the pinned comment below. To go even deeper, watch the next video linked on screen now. This quantum experiment proves that the mind creates reality, double slit, and the Hermetic law. It reveals the exact moment when your presence begins to shape the world. Until the next video. And remember, it is not the mind observing the universe. It is the universe observing itself through your consciousness.